Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and we are at part 5 of the Q&A, so let's get it done. First question. Barbell rows versus Pendlay rows strictly for mass. This one's pretty simple. A barbell row, you use more muscle groups, and therefore you can use more weight, which means your form's going to be a little sloppier. You can cheat the weight up a little better and then have a heavier negative, which is going to produce more overall muscle growth, at least in theory. The Pendlay row puts more direct isolation on the primary movers. There's less room for cheating. It's quite a strict movement, and oftentimes you skip the eccentric rep. You're not controlling the eccentric, you're letting it draw fairly fast. The Pendlay is a great explosive power training tool. It is a great strength training tool. It's still good for mass, but I feel that it has less mass potential than a conventional barbell row. But I am a big fan of the Pendlay row because of the performance aspects. I would much rather have a strength athlete doing Pendlay rows than I would a conventional barbell row, but I might push a competitive bodybuilder more in the direction of the regular 45-degree barbell row than the Pendlay row. So for mass, I've got to go with the barbell row for just pure mass. All right, next question. What is your opinion on Olympic lifting compared to powerlifting? It sounds like the same principle, lift heavy shit, but the Olympic lifting seems more technical. Anyways, would love to hear your opinion on it. Honestly, this is like comparing apples to oranges. They're so vastly different. Yeah, they have weight classes. You have heavy lifts. They are about a 1 rep max. So that's what they have in common. But once you get past that, these two sports are almost as different as you can possibly get, because powerlifting, and even powerlifting, raw powerlifting versus equipped powerlifting, are completely different sports with completely different training requirements. And while powerlifting does contain a degree of technicalness, you're going to find that there's so much room for variation in style due to individual leverages and methodologies and strength curves that there's a lot more customization. While on the other hand, Olympic lifting is far more about perfect textbook technique as has been learned by the experts and coaches over the years, drilling that technique over and over and over and over until you have it perfect, along with just a sheer amount of explosive speed. Now, powerlifting, you do need explosive speed, and explosive speed will help your lifts, but Olympic lifting, it is dramatically more important. It is a couple of degrees more important. Speed and technique are everything in Olympic lifting. Now, strength still matters. I don't want to say strength doesn't matter, but you can take someone who is the strongest squatter in the world and start training them for Olympic lifting, and they still may very well get their ass handed to them by a slightly lighter weight Olympic lifter who maybe squats 100 less kilos than them, just because his technique is better, he is faster. And so raw strength alone will not cut it in Olympic lifting, while raw strength will get you a long way in powerlifting. It's just that it's such a technique-oriented sport in comparison. And it really is comparing apples to oranges. And they're both legitimate, awesome sports in their own right. All right, last question for the week. Jason, I think I'm beginning to reach the dreamer bulk level of big. How do I fix this without losing the bit of strength I've managed to build? You don't want to lose strength, but you're getting too fat on your bulk. Go back to maintenance for a little while and try to recomposition just a little bit, and then assess from there if you need to go ahead and do a cut. Recomp for about a month, and then assess if you want to try to do a slow cut for a little while to trim back down before you go back into a bulk. But if you are reaching that state, you're going to have to end the bulk itself, and if you go right into a cut, you're going to lose strength. So you need to really assess what you want at that point. And for most guys, if strength is a real concern, go ahead and drop down to maintenance and just recomposition for a little while before you decide what you want to do. Because if you are training for strength, it's going to be a big blow to you psychologically when you go into a cut, particularly if you try to cut fast. So at the very least, if you go into a cut, you need to cut very, very slowly as a strength athlete. None of this 10 pounds a month bullshit. And just like people have noticed with me, I'm only losing right now cutting. I'm recompositioning really well, but I'm a strength athlete. I'm only trying to lose like 1 pound per month right now. which I seem to be pretty well doing. So that's the route you need to take as a strength athlete. If you're concerned with your performance, avoid those hard, fast cuts. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time. Let me give you guys a bicep shot first.